recorded.
You are simply taking the interest rate, dividing it by the frequency of payment in a year. So if you are going to do it on monthly basis, then you are taking your interest rate, dividing by 12. If you are going to do it on quarterly basis, then you are taking your 12%, dividing by 4, and your new interest rate is now going to be 3% per quarter. That one means for us to get interest rate, we are supposed to take the annual rate, divide by the corresponding period here. And remember, if you're going to do that, you'll keep on changing those items manually. That is very hectic. So that's why you want to automate this process. Okay, question number 2. When you are going to pay the same loan, you are supposed to pay the loan for 4 years when you are going to, or when you are paying it on annual basis. When you took a loan that is having 12% interest rate on annual basis, and you've decided to convert this to be on monthly basis, how many times are you going to pay for this loan? Assuming that the original was 4 years, how many times are you going to pay this loan? How many times are you going to pay for this loan when the loan term is 4 years and you are doing payments on monthly basis? So it means for the loan period, we are not dividing the number of years. Instead, we are the frequency of payment in a year and multiply by the number of years for that loan. So that is why we have here time and M to represent the frequency. But this frequency, we cannot keep on changing it. As customers are there, you want to save on time and automate everything. And therefore, we are going to avoid that manual mentioning by now, just coming here, picking our company monthly, we just pick the monthly, then it automatically adjusts everything down there. So which method are we going to use to bring these names here? Method are we going to use to bring the names to the frequency section? Which method are we going to use? So we are going to create a drop-down list. We are going to create a drop-down list. So without wasting time, create your drop-down list using data validation to bring all these items into the section. That is what we did yesterday. So I believe there is no recap that you're supposed to do about that, unless someone is joining us for the very first time. So just pick the periods, or don't pick the titles. Just pick from annually to daily. So I have created my drop-down list such that if I want annually, I just pick annually and it appears there. If I want monthly, pick my monthly and bring it there. So you can give it maybe some color there. Let's make it, let's have something like that. So we have created frequency. Really, data validation covered yesterday extensively for 2 hours. So place your cursor in front of frequency. Go to data validation, again data validation, under allow, pick list, then source, go and highlight those periods, annually, semi-annually, quarterly, up to daily, then you say okay. So I want to see Vanessa confirming that she has been able to validate the information. Vanessa, confirm if you've done that. Vanessa, confirm if you have done.
This meeting is being recorded.
So having done that, this is going to be our next step. I would like us to highlight. So in the installment part, put it in brackets, periodic amounts. Put it in brackets, periodic amounts. Then put it in bracket, periodic amounts. Then highlight this part here. I want it to change to this state. I want it to behave in a way that if I place my cursor here, it is not going to be called B2. Instead, it should be called loan. If I place my cursor here, it should be called annual rate, not B3. So which method am I going to use to help me do that? Which method am I going to use to help me do that? Which method am I going to do or use to help me do that? If you can recall, when we were having problem with picking the name range or data range, we used some formula. So somebody is telling me that create from selection, in short, defining the name of the cell. So move data, having highlighted those items here, you highlight the column A and column B, just have it up to periods. Somebody is telling us to move to data. It should not be moving to data. Just move to formulas, then create from selection. And under that, ensure that the left column box is ticked. And you say, okay. Highlight the whole of this part, move to formulas, create from selection. Left box is ticked, then you say, okay. So if I do that, when you now come back to this, it is not called B2. Instead, it is now called loan. If I come here, annual rate, here, years. So it is now defined. We have changed the name of the cells. Okay, I want you to do the same to the items here, these items that are here. I want you to do the same to the items that are here. So create from selection, left column, then okay. Such that if I want daily or if I want 365, it is called daily, not L8. Having done that, we want to now use finance function, or we now want to use a formula that will help us to adjust this interest rate and period such that if I pick monthly, then interest rate should change to be 12 divided by number of months, or the interest rate here divided by the number of months. Which formula is that? I want a formula that will tell me if my frequency here is quarterly, then it should take interest divide by 4 to give me interest rate. If it is weekly, it should take this divide by 52 to give me the interest rate. Which function is that? Which function is that? Which function is that? some ifs is getting the summation. Some if is the summation. Remember, we are not interested in getting the summation of anything here. Yes. Some product, we are not multiplying anything. We don't want to get the number of units produced. We are not multiplying anything. I want you to be sure of the formula. Some product is when you want to multiply one item by the other and get the summation. Some ifs is giving us the sum when we bring in some conditions. Not some product, not some if. Ifs, yes. If, yes. So what we are going to use is if function. At some reasonable speed, let's move. You want to set the interest rate part. It is you who have told me that interest rate, we take the frequency, or we take the interest per annum divided by frequency. So we will say equal to, in the interest rate part, is equal to if, click my tab button, if frequency here is equal to this, comma, then it should take the annual rate divided by the frequency of payment, which is this. Tunaelewana hadi hapo? Are we getting each other? Each other. Just inserted the first function. No. Which part are you not getting? Which part are you not getting? It is you who have told me that if my interest payment rate is 12% per annum, and the period that I'm going to take to pay this is on monthly basis, then I should take that annual interest rate divided by the number of months. Is it so? What is our B10? Let's see. What is our B10? Let me undo all of this. Our B10 is the frequency. Here, it is the frequency. It is the frequency. So if you decide, you can also take frequency or define this cell to be frequency, but that one will complicate your work because we also have a Excel function called frequency inside here. So I want you to get it from this point. We are saying it is only this that we are going to vary. Remember, we are automating everything. We are trying to say, if you have been told that, yes, the interest, the loan amount is this, annual rate ni, years ni 4, na nataka kulipa hii loan for monthly basis. So your work will only be coming here, putting monthly, then everything changes. You don't need to interfere with any part of your schedule or template. You just come here and say, okay, it is monthly, pick the monthly. It changes everything the way you want it to be. So we are automating this such that if it is monthly, we don't need to come again and do it manually. It will automatically do everything for us. That's why when we are here in the interest rate, we are saying equal to if function, equal to if function, if what we have here is equal to annually, comma, then it should take the annual interest rate divided by the frequency of payment in a year, which is 1, comma, are we now together? Are we now moving together? Are we now together up to that point? Are we now together up to that point? Okay, we have more than one condition. we've now taken care of the annual payment. What about these other ones? We want to automate them. We bring in another if. We are saying if this B10, which is frequency, is equal to semi-annually, comma, then it should take the interest rate divided by the frequency of payment in half a year, which is 2, comma. I believe you are following what we are doing. I believe you are following what we are doing. I believe you are following what we are doing. Okay. We have taken care of semi-annually. We are moving to quarterly. We are saying if frequency here is equal to quarterly, comma, then it should take the annual interest rate divided by the frequency of payment on quarterly basis, which is 4. Comma, if this frequency is equal to monthly, comma, then it should take the interest rate here per annum, divide by the number of months in a year, which is monthly, as we defined the cell. And monthly, if you check, the first one is the normal function in the Excel, but the second one is what we created. So pick your second one, comma, if, click my tab button, frequency here is equal to weekly, comma, then it should take the interest rate divided by the number of weeks in a year, which is 52, comma, if, click my tab button, the frequency here is equal to daily, comma, then it should take annual rate divided by the number of days in a year, which is this, comma, until you pick all these items. Until you pick all those items. Having picked all of them, the last part here, if you check your function, it is telling you, what if the value is false? What do you want to be given as an answer if the value is false? That is, it does not meet all these conditions. I expect it to be an empty cell. So I bring in the quotation marks and close all the brackets that I opened. And close all the brackets that I opened. So still my formula is edited. Let me give you 1 minute to see it. That is what I have. You can check it up here or even down here. That is we have. That is what we have. When I enter my formula, when I enter to see the outcome, that is what I am getting. So I can decide to make this format, to have that format as what I have here, then just make it to maybe to 4 decimal places somehow. Yes, something of that kind. So when you pick it on monthly basis and the annual interest rate is 12, it will be 1. That is 12 divided by 12. What about quarterly? I just pick quarterly, then this one automatically changes. That is the automation we are talking about. You don't need to come and edit it. Once you have adjusted it, when it is semi-annually, we expect it to take 12 divided by 2 to give us 6%. Let's see. Semi-annually automatically changes to 6%. So that is how this thing is going to make our work easy. Just come here, frequency, weekly, it automatically changes and adjusts that. That's what we are talking about. Are we together? Cannot get monthly in mind. It is because 1, you picked the wrong monthly. 2, you did not define the name. If the other ones are just okay, then you picked the wrong formula of monthly. You picked the wrong formula of monthly. Role of somebody saying about role of 6. Role of quotation mark. The quotation mark is there to provide, if the value is false, what do you want it to return to you? Do you want it to write the word false, which is not you want? You want just that cell to remain empty without anything. That's why we have that quotation mark. I think we covered that in if functions yesterday. So the formula is, let me display it here so that you see it. Let me display it there so that you see it. Let me display it there so that you see it clearly indicated there. That is our formula. That is the formula we are using. That is the formula we are using. If you check here, that's the formula we are using. That is the formula we are using to get this. So whoever had a problem with that, this is where you went wrong, is equal to monthly. When I type monthly, I have these two. So for your case, you took the first one, not the second one. If you take the first one, that's why you are messing with your formula. You are supposed to take the second one. The second one is what we created. The first one is the default one that is there in the Excel. You are supposed to pick the second one. So with you, you picked the first one. That's why you are getting wrong for the monthly. My cells are blocked by the ifs and I cannot press them. You can recall the column. You can recall the column number. You can recall the column number. For example, mines are in column K. And I know when I place my formula here, you see they are blocking these ones here. But I know this one is column K and the row number is here, highlighted here. So just write, if you want the items here, just write K6, you will get it. If you want the name here, you know that K6 is quarterly. So quarterly, you wrote it as quarterly, you just wrote the name. So just type QU and you will see it appearing there. Then you continue. Let's automate periods and see. and you are the people who told me that for the periods, we simply take the frequency of payment multiplied by the number of years. You told me that for the period, we take frequency of payment multiplied by the number of years. So we are going to say equal if this weekly or frequency is equal to annually, comma, I will take the number of years multiply by the frequency of payment per year, comma, I bring another if. So before I go to another if function, are we together? I am getting formula, lack of opening or closing parenthesis. I don't know the problem with your information, but I think if you have that formula, you will get everything the way we have it. I don't know the that you are not getting. It means the number of brackets that you placed there are not equal to the number of the brackets that you opened. The commas that you use there, you must be very keen of them, because the moment you mess up, it will not give you the answer. If function is very, very sensitive to comma, bracket, quotation marks, so you have to be keen on that. Remember, we have 13 minutes to go, though whatever has remained is just the bonus. So we will see those who are willing to remain, or we just leave it when 10 p.m. reaches. So, okay, you've done the right thing.
This meeting is being recorded.
For those who are continuing, let's see if you've done the right thing. I would have given you the other way of becoming lazy, but let's do this one first, then you see how we are going to correct that. So the next one is if function. Then we are saying if the frequency is equal to semi-annually, comma, we will take annual or number of years multiply by 2, comma, if frequency is equal to quarterly, comma, we will take number of years multiply by 4, comma, if frequency is equal to monthly, comma, we'll take years multiply by 12, comma, if frequency is equal to, so if your formula blocks this, and you know very well that this column is K, and you are working in row number 7, just say if B10 is equal to K7, I've already picked it and I'm seeing it highlighted there, comma, then it should give me weekly. So just type weekly, and you will see it appearing there. That's the weekly that I defined. So when I say tab button, it automatically picks that. So when B10 is equal to K7, that is weekly, then I should take the number of years, multiply by weekly, comma, if frequency is equal to daily, comma, it should take the number of years multiplied by daily, comma, if not, I should get quotation mark and close all the brackets. So that is what we have there. That is what we have there. So having inserted all those, having inserted all those, having inserted all those, having inserted those, when you enter, you'll be able to see that when I pick weekly with 4 years, it is taking 4, multiplying by 52, giving me 208. If I pick monthly, I expect it to give me 48. If I pick quarterly, I expect it to take 4 multiplied by 4 to give me 16. So having done that, I've now linked this with this one here. I've linked the years with the frequency. So when someone comes for the loan, I simply tell them you are going to pay this on a monthly basis and you are supposed to pay it for 4 years and the interest rate for this specific loan is 13%. Then it automatically adjusts these things. If the loan is for 5 years, it automatically adjusts these items. So back to our 12%, our 4 years, of which with this one we can vary. So the installment or PMT is the number of, remember, but inside that fixed amount, there is the principal and the interest component. When you pay the loan, when you normally pay the loan, the amount that you pay is always fixed up to the last day. But inside that fixed amount, we have interest and principal amount. So we want to get that fixed amount. The function we are going to use is the name in bracket. The function is PMT function. And remember, when you are paying the loan, it is cash outflow and the value will be negative, but we need a positive value. So let's first of all get the negative value and see how we are going to get it to positive. Activate your cell, then say PMT. It appears there. Our rate is the interest rate here, not the annual rate. It is the interest rate here, comma. Number of periods is the periods there, comma. Present value is the loan that you took, comma. Future value 0, comma. Are you going to pay back this loan at the end of every period or at the beginning of every period? For this illustration, we are going to use at the end of the period, which is 0. Then you close your bracket. If I enter, I am getting that if you take a loan of 100,000, you are paying at 12% per annum for 4 years on monthly basis. I will take 48 months, paying 2633.38 per month. And since I want to use this in the schedule down here, I'm supposed to have a positive value here. So what do I do? Immediately after equal sign, I should insert my negative sign to give me the positive value. Are we together up to that point? Are we together up to that point? Are we together up to that point? The number of brackets that you are closing should be equal to those that you opened. Can you send this worked Excel sheet in the group, please? Yes, I will do that. Okay. So remember, we've linked all these items that the installment amount will just keep on changing depending on the frequency. What if our frequency is quarterly? Installment is automatically changing. What if it is weekly? These things are just adjusting by themselves. What if the interest loan or rate for the annum per annum is 15%? It will adjust these things. That is what we call automation. Now from here, we are moving down to the schedule. So let's have our period here. Let's have the period here, period of payment. Let's have the beginning balance. Let's have our installments. Of which in bracket it is called PMT. Let's have the interest amount. Let's have the interest amount. In bracket, I want us to have this IPMT. Then let's have the principal. And let's call it PPMT. And the last one, let's have ending balance. Let's have those there. So I believe you now have the names that are just defined there. And let's start with 0 as the first period. Let's start with 0 as the first period. On PMT, the function itself is PMT, equal sign, PMT, tab. The first thing that it requires is rate. Rate is the interest rate that we created down there. The next thing is number of period NPER. That is now the periods that we have there, comma, present value is the loan amount up there, comma, future value 0. Payment, is it at the beginning or at the end? At the end, and we picked 0 to represent at the end. Close your bracket and enter. If you enter, you are getting a negative value. How do we eliminate the negative value? At the beginning, yes, I'm not doing, I'm just illustrating. Then, immediately after equal sign, put a negative sign and you'll get a positive value. PMT is here. Interest rate is this, comma. Number of periods is this, the periods that we had here, 208, comma. Present value is the loan amount up there. And future value is 0. And type, is it at the beginning or at the end? It is at the end of the period, and therefore we have 0. Is it now understood? Is it now understood? Is it now understood? Is it now understood? Okay, so let's proceed. it is past time by 4 minutes, and this one is an optional thing. The one that was compulsory was bank reconciliation statement. So for those who are willing to proceed, no problem. But those who are willing to get out of the meeting, you are also free to do that. But please send me the exercise and the assignments to the email that I forwarded to you. Our last day still remains 31st. Our last day still remains 30th. I think that's what I indicated there, of this month, to submit all those things. Your certificates are almost ready, latest Tuesday. So the earlier you submit your assignment, the better for you to have your certificate. So for those who are willing to proceed, let's proceed. For those who maybe are joining another class, well and good, you are free to leave. This is a bonus that I just gave you, not in our course outline, but I saw it wise to make you equipped with this loan schedule concept. Okay, so let's proceed now. So having period here as 0, we want to automate these things here such that our work is just to come and pick frequency and everything will be adjusted in this column. Interest is normally the rate, the interest rate here, multiplied by the beginning balance to give us the interest amount, of which that one also is still a manual method. We want to automate it by using IPMT to automatically get the interest rate. Installments will not change, so it will be the same throughout, and therefore we'll say equal to our installments and fully dollar reference it, FN, F4. It will not change. It will be the same thing all through. So that is what we have. That is what we have there. So we can decide to autofill it maybe to somewhere here. Let's make it to there. And under frequency, I want us to use annually for just some reasons that I will explain. Let's use annually, have 4 years, then have let's use 12 that we add. So let's have 12% per annum, years to be 4, and then you come down here to do it annually. We've automated all this. Unless there's a question, let me proceed. Yes, that date which is in the assignment is effective. Whatever is in the assignment, that is what will work. That date indicated there. Really? We said when we want to get the prices and it is only common price, we want to refer to this price. How are we dollar referencing? Fully dollar referencing, how are we doing it? If you want to say that this year is common, we were picking this and full dollar referencing. Let's say what you wanted to pick was in this D2. How do we fully dollar reference? How do we fully dollar reference? It is FN, F4. That's what I have done to this. FN, F4 to place the dollar sign before B and 8. Anybody with a question concerning that? I know how to dollar reference. My installments is picking words, not figures. Well and good. It means you find even the installment part. But when it is speaking the words, it is giving you the value. So you are safe because that's also another way of dollar referencing. If you define the name, that's also another way of dollar referencing. So having defined the name of which, when you refer to this, it is giving you installments. Just say equal to installment, drag it downwards, and you will get the same value auto-filled. That's not an issue. If someone won't have submitted by 31st, does it mean they won't get the certificate? Why do you want to go beyond 31st? Why do you want to go beyond 31st? Okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. So that's what you are going to do to the installments, but let's come back to this. So in period 0, installment is 0. You don't expect to have any installment there. But in period 0, the ending balance is that loan amount. So in period 0, you still have the loan equal to loan amount. And the beginning balance in period 1 is equal to ending balance in the previous period, which is equal to this amount. Are we moving together? Are we moving together? Are we moving together? Why is my interest rate appearing 0.12, not 12%? 0.12 multiplied by 100 will give you 12%. If you go to the numbers section, the formatting of your item here is not percentage. You have number. That's why you have 0.12. So go to this part, pick percentage, and you'll have 12. That's the difference. So I want us to see how we will get interest, both using the manual way and using the IPMT function. So interest is equal to beginning balance multiplied by the rate. So it is equal to beginning balance, then we multiply by the rate, which is interest rate here. If I enter, I am getting 12,000. How do I get principal amount? It is equal to the fixed payment minus the interest component. Then I'll be able to get the principal amount. Are we getting those two values? 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 So interest is equal to interest rate multiplied by the beginning balance. It is interest rate multiplied by the beginning balance. That is what I have here. If 32 or installment is equal to interest plus principal and I have interest, what is the principal? It is the installment minus interest. That is what I have here. And I have said these two methods are manual methods. Let's use IPMT. So is equal to IPMT. When I click my tab button, it needs the rate. What is this rate? It is the interest rate here, comma, period, it is period 1, comma, number of period is periods here, comma, present value is the loan amount, comma, future value we said is 0, comma, we are going to do this payment at the end of the period, so it is 0. That is my function. Before I put the bracket and enter, that is what I have. So are we all having the same thing? Are we all having the same thing? Are we all having the same thing? That's my function. So when I enter, I'm getting the interest value to be 12,000, but it is a negative. The Excel function is not wrong. It is correct because when you pay interest, that is cash outflow. And therefore, I need to introduce a negative here to make that cash outflow change to a positive value. If I want it to have this format, just place my cursor there, move to Format Painter, highlight the whole of this column, these three here, to have the same format. Or I can highlight this because these ones will be having some values of large amount. Then I come here and make it to 2 decimal places. So that is what we have. That is what we have for our loan and the interest amount that we need to pay. So we've automated this interest. What about principal? Will we be able to get the same amount that you are getting by taking this minus this? Let's see. Equal to PPMT. The difference is just the names here, but the inputs are the same. So rate, it is this interest rate, comma. Period is this, period 1, comma. Number of periods, we have this, comma. Present value, the loan amount, comma. Future value 0, comma. Ending period, we want to do it at the end of the period, so we are going to pick 0, then we close our bracket. If I enter, I'm getting a negative, and I should have negative there to get me the positive value. So if I do that, that is what I am getting. If I add these two, I am getting 32,923.44. That is what is here in column D. So we've now automated those two using financial functions. How do we get the ending balance? Ending balance is the beginning balance minus the principal amount, not the interest. So my ending balance will be equal to beginning minus principal paid, not interest. So when I try to autofill these formulas down here, that's what we are getting. And then let's now have this one also autofilled up to here. And let's have period 2 written down there up to, let's just make it to this part. So if you see what I have in the last period, which is this loan should be paid up to year 4. So in year 4, I'm making the payments here and there is no ending balance. But if you check my schedule here, I have some values extending and some errors here. So we want to now automate it and eliminate all these errors by using if function. That should start by column B. It should start by column B. IPMT, activate your cell, then you say activate your cell, then you say minus IPMT. The first item in the formula is the rate. That rate is this interest rate here, not the annual rate. It is the interest rate that we automated down here. Period is period 1 here, comma. The number of periods now is this which we add here. Present value is the loan amount. Future value is 0. Then the type, are we going to pay it at the beginning or at the end? It is at the end, and therefore at the end of the period is represented by 0. Any other question? Any other question on that? If your values are negative, just insert negative immediately after equal sign and you'll have the positive values. Just insert negative immediately after equal sign and you'll get the values. Okay, so I want us to automate this such that if the loan payment ends at period 4, then there is nothing that should be here. This part should remain empty without all these errors that we are seeing here. So come and place your cursor in period 1. Then say equal to, if, click your tab button, if the period here is greater than, if the period there is greater than this, that is that 0, comma, then we will take this period or this 0 plus 1. If not, it should remain empty. That is my function up there. If the periods are greater than 0, comma, it should take 0 plus 1. If not, the cell should remain empty. That's what I have there. So let's enter and see. If I enter and autofill my formula, this is what has happened. Because the period is 4, then anything after 4 should remain empty, but the formula is still maintained there. Anything after 4 should remain empty, but the formula is still maintained there. So having done that, I want you to drag your formula up to, let's say, let's do it up to 500 or even 540 there. So if you do it up to that last part, still if you check here, you have the function, but it is empty. We have automated that. This is what I've done. Period 0 has no formula, just indicate 0. After 0, come to this cell and say if period, that is this 4 here, is greater than this 0, comma, then I should take 0 plus 1. If not, yes, that, but the formula will still be there. Let's see what will happen. What if we change this annually to semi-annually? We expect it to reach 8. Anything after 8 should be empty. What if we change this one here to be quarterly? We expect it to stop at 16. Anything after 16 should just be empty. That is automation of the period column. Any question? Any question? What did you do to the ending values? Ending values. The first ending value in period 0 is the loan amount. The first ending value in period 0 is loan amount. The next one in period 1 is the beginning balance minus principal amount. It is the beginning balance minus the principal amount. That is 100 minus this principal amount, then you enter. I'm getting 95,038. That is what I have here. Any other question? Show the automation part. This is what I have. You set your formula in this cell. You set your formula in this cell where we have 1. So you are saying if this period is greater than this, if this period is greater than this, if the period here is greater than the value in the first period, which is period 0, then I should take 1 plus this period 0. If not, it should remain empty, but with the formula. That is what I have done. So I'm setting my formula here. Any other question? Okay, so let's automate this part. Then I send you the working sheet because time is also not on our side. So let's take it back to annually. We want it to stop at 4. These other ones are still extending. We want them also to behave the way this first column has been automated. So we are coming here and saying if. We just add if function. It will be common to all of them, equal to if. Equal to if function, this period here is greater than or equal to this, comma, it should give us this G14 or the ending balance. If not, it should remain empty. Then I close my bracket. That's what I need to add. So that if I come here up to this point, I'm eliminating these errors that are here. I'm eliminating the errors that are there. So when let's see if I extend this one here, let me just do it up to, let's say, somewhere there. I want to make it to 12. Let's see if I now make it to, let's say, quarterly. I expect it to stop at 16. At 16, let me set the formula. At 16, it should stop here. There's nothing that's now appearing after 16. That's what is happening there. You see, this one here is extending still with errors, but at 16, it has stopped. Nothing is being reflected here. So we've automated this column. Highlight the formula again, please, for the beginning. The beginning is the ending of the previous period. So our period 0, our beginning is the loan amount, or our ending is the loan amount. In period 1, our beginning is the ending in period 0. Our ending in period 0 here is the loan amount. Our beginning cannot be in period 0. It is now in period 1. In period 0. Our beginning in period 3 is the ending in period 2. And automation of this is just adding, is just addition of if function. That's all. The formulas remain the same. Here, we are saying, remember, it's the same thing that we have here. So you can do it this way. Is equal to, just come here and pick this. Let me give you a secret. Immediately after equal sign, pick this and that comma. Then copy. So when you come here, just say immediately after equal sign, Control V. So you are saying if this period is greater than or equal to period in the schedule, comma, it should give us this. If not, comma, your quotation mark and bracket. We've automated that. So when we do it this way, it will only stop at this point, but after that, there is the formula. Come here again, immediately after equal sign, Control V, then here, comma, quotation, close your bracket. That's what we have. Come here again, immediately after equal sign, Control V, comma, quotation, close your bracket. And this last part here, immediately after equal sign, Control V. If not, comma, quotation, close your bracket, enter. If you do that, you'll be able to get the amounts indicated there. So let's now take it back to annually. If you bring it back to annually, it is stopping at 4. There are no errors that you are seeing previously. The errors have been eliminated. The errors have been eliminated. So what you now need to do, just highlight these ones where we have the formulas. Then you now autofill. Let's do it up to where we stopped with the functions there. Then you now double click. You've copied it up to the last part, such that, let's see, we want to now vary the payment period semi-annually. Everything stops at 8. Ending balance is 0. If you want to do it quarterly, it should stop at 16. Everything is stopping at 16. If you want to do it monthly, it is stopping at 48. Beyond 48, we don't have any value reflected, but the formula is still there in the cells. So we've automated this. So if somebody say this loan that you want is not 12%, it is 18% per annum, and you have to pay it for 5 years, and you are supposed to pay it on monthly basis. So you are simply telling the person you will be paying an installment of 2,539.34 per month for 60 months, and the last month, the 60th month is here. Nothing is going to be there after this month, but the formula will still remain in those cells. So we've automated our loan schedule. The only thing will keep on changing. So when somebody approaches you in the bank, they want a loan, you tell them this loan, this is the interest rate per annum, the loan amount that you need. Okay, I need 450,000. Then interest rate is 13.5. It is normally done for 4 years. You are going to pay it on monthly basis for 48 months. Your monthly payment will be 12,000. Your interest or the interest that the bank will be charging is 5.06, depending on the month. In period 1, it will keep on fluctuating. Principal amount is this, ending balance is this. This is the loan schedule. So if this was a company that came for the loan, of course, in the first period year, they will record this ending balance as the liability. In their income statement, they will record this as interest expense or finance cost. Then this one is going to reduce their loan that they took. In the last period, you can see we don't have the liability. You've paid everything. You will see you are going to pay an interest of 135.55. Then the principal that you paid for that loan is this amount. So this amount is what you are going to pay. The installment is the cash. Every end month, you are going to pay this amount into the bank account for those people. But out of this one will be interest, which is now going to be in income statement. This one here is going to reduce your loan amount. So that is how you automate your loan schedule. Your work is simply to play with the frequency section, courtesy of Excel. So you just sit down and say, okay, let's have the loan amount indicated there, the annual rate, then you are done. So it saves on time, and you need to have this at your fingertips. That's what I add for you.